Thank you.
Okay, it's recording, so.
All right.
So I am Brian Stewart, and we are having a support group on diabetes. And to get to know everybody a little bit better, I kind of set up a quick little icebreaker. It's just to get to know you. It's pretty simple. Just state your name, where you're from, your major, and an interesting fact. And then after you're done introducing yourself, one person from everybody will just ask that group member one question. So whoever would like to go first. So I'm Brianne Stewart. I'm from Spokane, Washington, and I'm majoring in public health. And a fun fact is when I was younger, I used to be a clogger. And I think that's about it.
Just say what? What'd you say?
I was a clogger.
Oh, you were? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, with the extra stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I loved it.
That's cool.
And then you guys can ask me one question.
Do you still clog?
In the comfort of my home, yes.
Yeah.
I don't think my husband's seen me clog, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You should surprise him one time and just start dancing for him.
I probably will. I wish I remembered some dances, but it's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who would like to ask another?
Hello?
No? Can you hear?
Oh, now I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So Matilda, do you have a question for me?
Okay. How old is your baby? I didn't hear at first.
Oh, she's 1. She's my 1-year-old baby.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Let's see. How long have you been in BYU, Idaho?
That's actually kind of a funny question. I graduated back in 2011 from BYU, Idaho with a political science degree. And then I decided to get a second degree. And so here I am online. And I'm almost done. I'm a senior. So.
Oh, okay.
Congrats. That's nice.
Yeah. So.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
That is awesome.
So, as you know, diabetes is kind of a difficult disease to monitor and kind of maintain. With monitoring, what kind of difficulties have you guys been noticing? Like, is it hard to keep track of when to monitor or log the monitoring? Does that work? Did you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you. Probably both. Like my aunt has diabetes and she has to prick her finger all the time, and it kind of seems kind of miserable. She does it so often and hurts her finger all the time and checks her blood levels and stuff. And so just, I don't know. And I honestly don't even know how often she has to do it, but it sounds like it'd be a drag, like something you always have to be aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think it's kind of difficult. I have an aunt that had diabetes. She had to be cautious of what she ate. She didn't eat outside because she was scared of what it might contain, and it was really difficult for her. And I think she had to be strict with her diet, and she had to exercise. She didn't like exercising, but she had no choice but to start getting new habits and all that. So I think it changes you, and you just have to adapt with it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I
Tammy.
have my mother-in-law. She's also diabetic, and it is so hard for her just to, try to eat the right things that she's supposed to be eating. And eventually, I know there's times that her blood pressure would go up high, and then her sugar level will also go high. So I think it's just monitoring that and keeping records of that. I think it's probably hard to. I don't know how. I couldn't even imagine having that type of chronic disease.
Right. It is. I mean, I know when I had gestational, it was only for like a brief moment really in time. But I mean, it is hard to keep track of when to monitor, because I know just based on what I've researched, is like they kind of have to check their blood every like an hour or so after they eat. So it's kind of like it rules their day when they have to check their blood sugar levels and whatnot. Do you know what type of device that they use? Like, do they have difficulties with the monitors or the testing accurately?
I've seen different ones. I worked at a center for adults with developmental disabilities, and one girl had Down syndrome and she had diabetes, and she, for a long time, she had to prick her finger, but then she switched to a pump, I think is what it was. So it just automatically would tell her, like, she just had to pull it out, and it was like, I don't know exactly, it was like attached to her stomach or something. She just had to pull it out and look at it. So it was a lot easier because sometimes she was compliant and was okay checking it, but other times she didn't want her finger pricked, and I mean, we can force her to do it. So it's kind of, it was, I think those are more challenging. The pump seemed really a lot more convenient.
Okay. Yeah. I noticed, like, because I have my little monitor here, and I had to do the finger prick, and there were days where I was bruised from it because you have to do it so much. Anyways, but yeah, I feel for her. Yeah. Have any of your guys' relatives, did they struggle with that as well?
Yeah, just a little, but it was difficult at first monitoring the device and all that. But with time, my own just got used to it, and I think she's doing a great job with it now.
Awesome.
I'm not too sure. I've never really seen my mother-in-law do it. So I know there's times that she says she does do it, and then when she does do it, she says it's pretty high. So I'm not too sure if how often she does it. I'm pretty sure, you're supposed to do like every time after you eat, but who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Have they like mentioned anything about having any difficulties with logging it, like keeping track of it? Like, do they have a journal that they write it down? Or I know some monitors will keep it in the little system, but do they find it hard to just take the second to write it down?
The girl that I worked with, we were like legally required to write it down. I haven't seen my aunt write it down, but I mean, she might, and I just don't notice.
Yeah.
I'm sure she does keep some sort of a log.
Yeah. I know technology kind of makes it easy, but I know it's still hard.
Do some devices, will they log it for you?
Yeah, I know that my monitor logs it, but sometimes I don't know how the doctors get it off of it. I think they just take your monitor and like read it and everything. But I didn't know if some people just had like an alternate way of logging, and if that was like kind of a helpful tip for those who struggle with it. So,
yeah.
I think my time is almost up, but so here's an example. It's kind of hard to see of what I did for a little bit when I had diabetes, gestational diabetes. And that's kind of how I logged it when I needed to take my info to my doctor, which looks time consuming. At the time I was childless, so it was a little bit easier. But I did find a couple handouts that would be useful in kind of glucose monitoring. So it's kind of hard to see, but this one kind of goes over like little tricks on how to do your glucose monitoring and what can kind of help you. So like setting goals, organizing your info, and just kind of keeping track of your data. So at the end of the meeting, you can take this home. And then I found another one that kind of talks about the different monitors. So we did mention like the one where you prick your finger, but I think the one that you're talking about, Janelle, is kind of like a continuous glucose one. So it like sticks on them and it just takes the right there and it's on them and they don't have to worry about, do I have enough strips or, needles? Right. So this one kind of goes over that. And then it also talks about like, if you find that your fingers and stuff are getting sensitive, that there are alternate uses such as the forearm, even though there are kind of some difficulties with the forearm where you can take blood. And then just like, why bother with, taking our blood glucose levels and checking them and whatnot. And that's really just for the benefit of your whole health. So I think that's kind of cool. So any other comments or suggestions?
I think so. That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice.
I think
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I kind of forgot to introduce you guys in the icebreaker. I just went for it because I was like, oh, time.
No, that's good. I think that works. We could just introduce ourselves before we talk, maybe.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, I like that.
I could go next.
Sure.
If you guys want.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm Janelle Parkinson. I grew up in California. I'm living right outside Chicago for the summer. This is my last semester. I'm studying public health. And like I said earlier, I'm pregnant with my first baby, a boy, due November 2nd. And yeah, do you guys have questions about me?
What exciting things are you going to do in Chicago this summer?
I've been so busy with homework that I can't wait for the semester to be over so I can go check out the city. Because I really want, I don't know if you guys have seen, there's this really cool thing that, I don't even know what building it is, but it's like this huge skyscraper and they have these huge windows that you can go and look out and it kind of pushes you forward. So you tilt like this and you get to look over like the whole city and you get to see the floor and everything. It looks really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I want to go through that.
Is this like a final year too?
Is what? Sorry.
Is this your final year?
Yeah, my final year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you started on your internship program?
Yeah, I did my internship last semester when I was in Ramsburg. I did it for, it was called the Adult Adventure Center in Idaho Falls. It's a center for adults with developmental disabilities. And it was really fun. It was really great. I worked with a lot of people who are like autistic and Down syndrome and just helped them. They all had goals that they were working on. So I'd help them. It was stuff like they want to learn how to start a conversation with somebody and make friends and that kind of stuff. So it was really fun.
That's cool.
Nice.
Okay, so one thing that I wanted to talk about, I'm actually a dental hygienist. So I graduated about 5 years ago with my dental hygiene degree. And last year decided I wanted my bachelor's too, so that's why I'm doing this program. But there's a huge link between oral health and diabetes. Have you guys ever heard anything about that?
A little bit,
A little bit?
but I don't know much.
Yeah. So have you guys heard of like periodontal diseases, like gingivitis and periodontitis? If any of those ring a bell? So those are infections in your gums that can lead to bone loss and you can lose your teeth and it can cause just a lot of havoc in your mouth. With diabetes, if your diabetes is not under control, what happens is there's a lot more sugar in the blood and there's a bunch of bacteria in your mouth, like all the time. It's always present, some good, some bad. That bacteria sitting in your mouth will feed off the sugars in the blood system and it will start destroying your tissue. So it'll start eating away your gums, it can start eating away your bone structure and it can cause a lot of problems. Do you guys know at all any of like healthy oral habits, what you should be doing to kind of help that? It's like it's like a lecture from your dentist, isn't it?
How often do you floss? Well, flossing helps with a lot of that because it gets the bacteria out.
Yeah.
So like if you don't floss, then it just builds up and that can cause you probably to get gingivitis a lot faster.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. Flossing is huge because it does help remove food debris from your teeth. It helps remove bacteria. It also brings oxygen under your gums because oxygen is what helps kill a lot of bacteria that cause problems. So flossing, once a day really is ideal, especially for people with diabetes, and more especially for uncontrolled diabetes. That flossing really is key. Do you guys know anything else? It's okay if you don't. Sorry. I don't mean to be like quizzing.
Well, probably brushing also
definitely brushing your
Yeah,
teeth.
I agree with that. That was the only thing that I had in mind.
Yeah.
Probably brushing regularly.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. So brushing your teeth like after every meal, but at least twice a day is definitely
Yeah.
ideal. Yeah, and you want to be when you're brushing, massage your gums too. You don't scrub them really hard because that can cause problems, but just like a light massage, kind of brush those,
Yeah.
keep them nice and clean. That'll help circulate the blood and get things healthier and remove a lot of bacteria and food debris too. Another thing you can do is rinse with a mouthwash, something that has especially fluoride in it. Fluoride is really good for your teeth and it'll help kill some more bacteria also. Yeah.
And make them stronger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I would recommend a fluoride toothpaste, even a fluoride rinse, especially for people suffering with diabetes. So home care is very important always, of course. So I'll step off my soapbox, but for people with diabetes, it's really important to take care of your teeth. I think it's an area that's easily neglected with diabetes because you have so many other things that are important to take care of. But don't forget your teeth. I just want to bring that up a little bit. And then the other area I guess I wanted to talk about was a little bit of supporting people with diabetes. Like what ways do you think we can support the people? Because we all said we know somebody with diabetes. So what are some ideas that we can help them with their struggles?
I think one thing is kind of being sensitive to like just what kind of lifestyle they have to live. Like they can't just eat the same way that we all eat. Like they have certain amounts of like carbs they have to hit, and they can't, obviously not have a ton of sugar. So I think like if we're just sensitive to what they have to go through and not really like say you have a family dinner, you can easily be like, okay, for one dinner, you can make it so that they don't feel like they can't eat anything. Like you can kind of just cater to them, and like other people probably won't even notice the difference. But I think just kind of taking the stress off of them with like worrying about, I'm going to a family dinner and I know this is how they eat, but just kind of being like, hey, what would you like to eat? And then make it, I don't know.
I agree with that. Once when my aunt came visiting, my mom was like, she's diabetic, and we had to think of something that we could eat and she could eat. And then we prepared it. She was really surprised, and we all enjoyed the meal. And she didn't feel like she wasn't part of the family. It was really an interesting dinner. So I think we should show them care. And even if we want them to live a good life, we should try for them to help them. Maybe trying to help them will make them want to take care of themselves. People don't like to feel like they can't do something. So if you make sure that you care for them, then they would remember to always take good care of themselves.
I think that's a great example because I'm sure that meant a lot to your mother-in-law. You guys made something specifically for her and you're thinking about her. So I love that idea. Yeah, I think that's great. And I think because, at least in my family, eating is always part of like every social interaction. So like anytime something's going on, we always like have a potluck or have some kind of meal. So I think it's also important to not be a food pusher and to like if someone says no, let them say no and not try to be like, oh, come on, come get ice cream with us or whatever. We gotta kind of respect what they want to do. So yeah, I think those are great ideas. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess that's all I wanted to talk about. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice. Okay. So I think I'll be next.
hey.
All right. My name is Matilda Amani. I'm from Nigeria.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes. Yes. This is my final year too. I'll be done in December. And yeah. And I'm planning to do my internship soon. Yeah. In my community health center. And one fun thing about me is when I was little, I loved dancing a lot. and I didn't want people seeing me, so I would always hide. And then when I'm visiting, I'm always embarrassed. So that's one thing about me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay. So do you have any question for me?
So my cousin's serving a mission in Uganda. How close is that to Nigeria?
In where?
Uganda? Is that any close
Sorry,
at all?
you said?
Oh, sorry, Uganda.
Yeah. Uganda. It's not really close, but it's
not?
not
Okay.
too far either. Yeah.
I didn't think so. I just thought I'd go ask.
Yeah. Okay. Any other question?
What are you planning to do for your internship?
I don't know yet. I haven't decided, but I have an opening in my community health center, like I said. But I'm still processing on what to do. Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yes.
Wow. Nice. Yeah. So, do you have any children?
No, I'm not married yet. I hope to someday, though. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I also I should also tell you guys I also found out about the program. I started doing the pathway program. Yeah. From Ghana, I had to travel to Ghana to do the pathway program, and then after the pathway program, I decided to do my degree public health online, and here I am. So yeah.
That's cool. Did you like the Pathways program?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I think it's what really made me to continue and take a degree. It was
That's
interesting.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
All
really
right.
cool.
I would just relate diabetes to having heart diseases. Yeah, that's what I would talk about. While going through it, I learned that having diabetes means that you are more likely to develop an heart disease and at greater chances of having a heart attack or sometimes even stroke. Yeah. So people with diabetes are also likely to have certain conditions and risk factors that increase their chances of having heart diseases or strokes, such as high blood pressure or high cholesterol. So if you have diabetes, you have to protect your heart and your glucose so you could stay healthy and you wouldn't have any heart problems. So do we have anyone in do you have anyone in your family that probably have heart disease due to diabetes or any relation with that?
My grandpa died from a stroke, but it wasn't related to diabetes. But I have heard of a lot of heart problems that arise from diabetes. Like I know that it's very prevalent.
Yeah, yeah. Because I think to be practical, I know when my grandma is late, she had diabetes too, and she also had high blood pressure. She had a BP problem, and so I think when you think about the diabetes, and then you get high blood pressure, so that's why we have to like be there for them, like you mentioned earlier, because it would take their minds off the real problem. You understand? And I think they will just live a normal life and live as long as they want to. But when they are lonely and there's no family around, they tend to think of their problems. Yeah, they tend to think of the problem, and it leads to a lot of things. So I had a short time to prepare for this, so I don't know if you have any questions, and then we would just discuss about it.
I had a question, but now I can't remember what it was.
Okay. I have one. In relating to health or diet, do you think as someone that has diabetes, do you think there are certain things they take that might even relate to having heart problems and all that?
Hmm.
I don't know.
I never think of diabetes with cardiovascular disease. That's one of my problems. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a tough one.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. The truth is that high amounts of certain fats and cholesterol in the blood also affects the heart. So when one has diabetes and also high amounts of sugar also, and blood glucose also causes problems to the heart. So when one eats foods that give them those things in high quantity, they are also um, they are more likely to have any heart disease with the diabetes. So I think we just have to be careful when in choosing the way we live our lives and make healthy choices. I think we need to learn how to exercise daily and eat good foods that wouldn't cause more harm to us. Yeah, avoid any food that would make our diabetes become worse and even give us extra chronic diseases. So I think that's what I have for you guys. So
I was going to ask, so would you suggest, like, as a family, to kind of join in on how, that family member has to change their lifestyle? Like, do you see that it would benefit the other families other members of the family if they were to change their lifestyle?
Yeah, I think so. I know that very well. I took a nutrition class last semester and I learned a lot about nutrition. I had to change the way I eat or the way I live my life, you understand? And then I also introduced that pattern to my family. I didn't know how they were going to take it, but like gradually I saw that some of them were joining in and like we try as much as possible together to eat good foods, to eat healthy meals, to exercise. Sometimes, even if we don't have the time, we take weekends to just exercise, to go out together. It's always fun when we are together. So I think if you as a person, you are doing it, the next person in the family is actually watching. You never know, and they can adapt to that habit. And I think gradually everyone would be healthy in the family, and everyone will be happy too. So I think it's good to introduce such habits to the family members.
Okay. Thank you.
I think it's interesting how much our diet can affect everything. Like poor diet can lead to diabetes and heart disease and dental problems and just everything.
Yeah.
So like it seems so easy to just switch your diet, but it's not. Like how can that not easy to do?
No, it's very difficult.
Like I've taken
it takes time.
Yeah, and I've taken nutrition classes and I know what I should be doing, but it's still hard for me sometimes to make myself a salad instead of eating pizza rolls. Like it's hard.
It's true. But sometimes you find yourself, sometimes you find yourself among your peers. Sometimes you are not even you don't even have nutritious food available to you, maybe where you are. So what do you do then? Do you go on where you make do with what you have? But I think the most important thing is you just strive to lead an healthy life. That's all. It can't be always good every day, but I think if you have it at the back of your mind, then you can make better choices when you have choices placed before you, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a really good point. Thank you.
Yeah. It's all about the trying.
Yes.
At some point, it will stick.
Yeah, you're right. Right.
That's true.
Okay. So, do you guys have any other question? That's all I have.
Awesome. Thanks, Matilda.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Did we lose Tammy? Is she still here?
She does look frozen.
She does look frozen. I hope we haven't lost her. Oh no.
I thought she was shaking her head earlier.
Yeah.
That's a picture.
Oh gosh.
I don't know what.
Maybe she just sent her a message.
Oh yeah.
Maybe she can text. Can you hear us, Tammy?
Is that?
Tammy?
I think she can hear us.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, I don't know what to do.
Oh no. I mean, I guess we could stop recording and get her back and then just record
Just
again.
record that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Should I just hang up this one and call back?
Can you is that possible? You
Or can you
just
say,
pause it.
I think you can pause the recording and then maybe
Okay.
send her a message. I think so. I don't know.
Just
It's been
hit
so
stop the
long.
recording. Let me just send her, maybe I'll just send her an email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was her
So she can join.
Yeah.
Tammy Owens? Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
All right, let's see if she can get the email. She was there for most of it, right? It was like up until now.
Yeah.
I felt like she was.
The last couple minutes, I don't think she
Yeah.
was moving.
Yeah, dang it. She was asking questions. She was involved.
I think she just got cut off.
Oh.
Let's see. I guess we give her a
Oh,
few minutes.
She
Oh.
looks like she got off, so maybe
maybe
she'll
she
go
hung
back
up.
on.
And maybe
Yeah.
she'll come in again.
Should we rejoin? Okay.
Yeah, she should be able to join right in, even with the link you sent before.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, she just sent a message. She said she lost signal.
Oh, there she is.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
Hi, Tammy.
I don't think what happened. Okay. I don't have really good connection.
Oh, no problem.
Sorry.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry to get to hear the last part of your thing. I don't know what happened. Okay, let me start off with mine now. I'm Tammy Owens. I come from the Navajo Reservation here in between. I live actually in New Mexico, close to the borderline of Arizona. So so I have 9 kids. I have 5 girls and 4 boys. So
Awesome.
I'm a pretty busy mom, yeah. I have 5 of them right now in softball and baseball, so they got practice and whatnot, and games afterwards in the evening times. Then I have a little one that I just recently had. He just turned 7 months.
Oh,
Exciting.
Yeah, but he's going to be my last, so.
Yeah.
you don't want an even number of boys and girls?
No. Yeah, so it's fun. Our house is never quiet. It's
Yeah.
always busy.
Yeah.
I'm actually on my senior year too with my classes. It's amazing because I thought I would never do it just because of my family and how tough it is with all the things I have to do. I'm actually working now too. I work with the infection control. So I
Oh,
work
cool.
under the STI infection, so I mostly deal with the STIs.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting. I actually just got this position about a year ago, so it's been a good year now that I've been working.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's really cool.
Do you guys have any questions for me before we start off?
How old is your oldest?
She is 12.
12, okay.
No, sorry. She's 13.
13.
So, yeah, so I go down from a 13 all the way to
7
7
months.
months.
They're like close in age. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
they're
so
all
wow.
pretty close. My last 4 is actually 13 months. They're all 13 months apart.
Wow.
Wow, okay. That's awesome.
That's cool.
How fun for you guys. That's cool.
So, have you guys seen the show Breaking Bad? I don't want to sound like a heathen.
I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it.
So, Tammy, I know you're from New Mexico. Have you been to that house
No.
that they throw the pizza on? I was just curious. Because my husband would be like, why didn't you ask her? So I had to ask her. He's all about that house. I'm like, we're not going to New Mexico just to see the house, but you know, there's other things to do there too as well.
Yeah.
That's okay. I thought I would just bring it up. Oh.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll start off with talking about what I wanted to talk about was about the exercising and being mobile with having the diabetes, chronic disease. I know that the majority of you guys' families are diabetic. Is there any type of special exercise or special things that you could share that could be helpful to people that have diabetes?
So my uncle was pre-diabetic, and he was really nervous, didn't want to have diabetes. So he actually got into biking. Like he bought a cool road bike, and he just would bike all the time, and it helped him lose a lot of weight. And he doesn't have diabetes. So he really took action, and really made exercise one of the main things he did. And I don't know if biking is good for everybody, but it works really, really well for him.
Yeah. Nice.
When I was working, the medical office I worked for kind of had like a metabolic program. And so what it did is it worked on the metabolic symptoms. And so what they did is they changed their diet and increased their exercise, or for some of them, just starting to exercise. And so I know for a lot of them, just like doing a simple walk every day really helped them, not just to lose weight, but to kind of help bring their levels down and whatnot. So just like a simply walking, or even just kind of maybe a low impact cardio class or something seemed to help them out with that. So
yeah, I think aerobic exercises really help diabetic patients. Like you go to the hospital, you see them, they jog around, walk. I think it helps keep their blood sugar normal and help them lose weight and all that. So doing it regularly on a daily basis really helps.
yeah.
All about that cardio.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess that's one thing that's interesting though, is like, you know, how we're supposed
Uh-oh.
I hope we didn't lose her.
to do your sugar level down. And I think that's one thing that my mother doesn't do, you know. I know there's some parts of her that is it's like she's having a hard time being diabetic, and I think it runs in the family for her. So it's gotten to the point where right now she's starting to have problems with her kidneys. You know, she's starting to have side pains, and I don't know if that's exactly what, you know, is causing her, you know, her being diabetic also, to have kidney problems. But yeah, so I just kind of just wanted to get some ideas of what exercising, you know, what type of exercising can be done, so it can help her also, and probably help others that have are diabetic. Here on the reservation, the majority of people are, you know, their chronic disease is diabetes. There's so many people here that are not eating right, and they intend not to exercise. I mean, we have programs and stuff like that on the reservation to help them, but it's just trying to stimulate them to go out and be a part of it. So I think, you know, just having this little understanding of the little exercises that can help, like the walking and stuff like that, you know, just knowing that, we can, I guess, maybe motivate these people to start walking and to help themselves to, you know, to prevent it from getting worse right.
So for some of the program, like, does the reservation, do they have like incentives for joining some of the programs, or do they kind of just, here's your program? Like, do they kind of market them, I guess?
It's kind of like we just recently got a new wellness center for the facility that I work in, and it's like the ones that have are diabetic, you know, they're referring them over there to the wellness center, and just you know, helping them, trying to figure out the diets, what they're needing, and giving them a rundown of type of exercises that they're needing to do too. But it just, I don't know if it's, maybe it's just the location of our home. You know, we have everybody that lives like distant. You know, it's not in a little community where we all can commute to the wellness center on a daily basis. It's like you have to travel like maybe 30 minutes to an hour just to get to the facility.
Oh,
So I don't know. Yeah,
Okay.
if that's the reason why. If you know, I don't. You know, it's kind of hard to figure out.
oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I was gonna do, is just the exercising part. I'm not. I wasn't really prepared for this.
It's okay.
No, that's
Right.
good. That's good.
Well,
I
because you
think
know,
like the diet, it's like similar where it's hard to get into a regular exercising routine for everybody, whether you have diabetes or not.
yeah,
But it is
Yeah.
interesting to see how much that will help prevent and help keep you healthy in your life.
yeah. It's amazing
Yeah.
what exercise and diet can do, like how many diseases it can prevent. Like it's almost like you're getting a perfect body if you eat right and you exercise. It's like, why not work towards the perfect body for yourself? Obviously, not what the world thinks a perfect
Yeah.
body is, but you know, like
Yeah.
health-wise.
Yeah, I agree. I think exercising in general is very important. I I always find it lazy to get up and exercise because I'll be like, I'm not fat. I have nothing to lose. I don't have weight. But then this semester I took a class, HRHP, physical exercise class, and it's compulsory for us to do an exercise log. So every 2 or 3 weeks we have to turn it into the instructor, and so you have to do it. So and I think at the beginning I did it for just maybe 2 times a week or 3 times, but as the week went on, I said I was able to do it every day, and it's now part of me, and I hope after the semester I would continue. But it's really fun. It makes me feel good. Yeah,
Yeah.
healthy, and so I didn't even think I can go that. I time myself. I didn't think I can go that far and all that, but it's helpful. That's just it. Yeah. Yeah.
Well then, thank you. Thank you for all
Yeah.
that information. It was
Yeah,
great.
you're welcome.
Awesome. I think then at the end, they just wanted us to talk for a few minutes about what was hard about being the facilitator and like how we thought it went.
Well, I know like in the reading and maybe in the instructions it said like you don't really have to have the experience or you're currently living with whatever. So like that part, it's kind of hard because like not everyone has diabetes or knows someone who has it and not, you know, or any disease. So it's kind of like, what do I ask them? I mean, you really do have to do your research to kind of
Yeah.
figure out like, okay, should I ask them what problems are you having here? Or what do you find helpful here? Like, I think as a facilitator, you should still have some type of background knowledge to it. It's hard, but I think we all
Yeah,
do pretty well.
me too. I think that was also my challenge. As a facilitator, I needed to like study more and then come up with more questions and all that, so the interaction would flow. So maybe next meeting I'll probably come prepared with a lot of information. Yeah. That's all.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's like I feel like I had to rely on other people's experiences because I don't have experience with diabetes. So I don't know, if I was to run a support group, I don't think it'd be on diabetes. I'd be on something else.
Yeah. Something that you're familiar with and then like come from the back. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. That's how I felt too. You know, I had to rely on other people. But you know, it was interesting. You know, it was a topic that my mother-in-law's, she's a diabetic, but you know, it's something that I never really considered to know a little bit more about. But actually going into it and understanding a little bit more was actually interesting and helpful to know, I guess.
Yeah. So I think overall it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, at first I was actually nervous. I didn't know how the meeting would go.
Yeah.
I think it was fun.
Yeah, I think we did good. Okay, great. Well, I'll go ahead and post the link then so she can see
Okay,
that we have it.
Okay.
so just one person have to submit it, right?
Yeah, I think I just put it on the chat. What's that called? The discussion board.
Yeah.
Alright.
So I'll just put the link on there so she can see it.
Perfect.
Okay. Bye. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Bye, Jonah.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Bye.